and welcome to our digital fashion showcase. We had a make it work moment this quarter where we are holding our 24th annual fashion show digitally. Student designers have been working at home all quarter long. They borrowed machines and half-size dress forms from the program. We have had weekly Zoom meetings. We've done FaceTime. We have done texting. I've sent videos, tutorials, all sorts of things to them all quarter long, and they have persevered and created awesome collections from their home. Hope you've been following us all quarter and to see their introductions and the spaces that they have been working and how they have made this online learning, we're designing a line for a fashion show, work at home. Thanks for joining us and enjoy the show.
Hi, my name is Avery Turner and I'm a junior. My inspiration for this line, which I called Apocalypse, is basically I took the apocalyptic aesthetic from the movie Mad Max, and then I also took the Hunger Games capital attire and the bright colors that they use, and I kind of combined those together. That's how I got the name Apocalypse. I started out by draping the top on this half, and then I flat patterned the pants right here. I draped this top, and I flat patterned these pants and these little pant legs, and then I also draped the skirt right here. I also made all the accessories and the jewelry that are accompanied with the outfits. The new techniques that I use, I have never tried to switch between fabrics like on the jumpsuit right here, and that was pretty challenging. I wasn't really sure what to do at first, but Andrea really helped me by telling me I need to clip it, and that really helped. I am pretty proud of the whole line itself. I think it's pretty cohesive and it went together really well. I am really proud of all the jewelry that I made as well. And so I'm really excited for you guys to see, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, my name is Jorge Castillo. I am a sophomore here at Central Washington University, and my line is called Pariah. The name Pariah is a synonym for black sheep, which is an idea that I came up with in high school with one of my friends. I decided to incorporate that sort of project into my line. My process began with flat patterning my designs, in which I researched how to make a hoodie and incorporate a lapel into the coat, and how to make a collar stand. New textiles I worked with were wool and this pink knit that I have here, and they were a bit different than what I have used before, so it was kind of a struggle. More challenges that I faced were definitely working from home, not having the space that we are offered in the sewing lab was very challenging. I had to do it in a small corner of my room. I have a very tiny desk, and it's made out of glass, so I would always be kind of freaked out that the sewing machine was going to fall through it. I hope you enjoy my line.
ISO Wendy's, where y'all from?
ISO, Indies. Yeah, live free, speak your piece. Stay humble in these streets, yeah. In these streets. Let's go. Playground parks with the trees and the cars. Brownstone buildings with the kids on the porch. Murals on the walls for the ones that we lost. Bodegas on the corner, let me see what's in store. Subway stations with the maps in the cars. Summer cookouts, uncle got the sandals on. Statue of Liberty, we holding up the torch. If they ask where I'm from, tell them this is New York. We from the home of the...
My name is Abby Omber. I'm a senior this year at Central Washington, and this is my line, Psycho Witch. My inspiration was a little bit of things I found on Instagram, so it was kind of like anime inspired, but very like pastel and bright colors. My process was basically I would drape each piece based off of designs that I came up with, and then I would take muslin and then use like these little forms in order to drape the piece that I came up with on my design. And then from there I then made paper patterns, and then anything that I could not drape I then flat patterned, and then from there I made a sample, and then I made the final piece. So some new techniques that I learned were learning which types of seams you need to use in order to keep things flat and as thin as possible, so I would create so much bulk, especially with the different textiles that I used. Some of the textiles that I used were from previous dresses, from homecoming dresses or prom dresses. I got them at Goodwill, Valley Village, or some friends donated them to me. So I basically had to take all those dresses apart and then use those fabrics and figure out which largest pieces I could use in order to create these pieces here. Working from home wasn't terrible. I didn't have a lot of distractions, thankfully. I was pretty focused for the most part. Working on smaller forms I found to be kind of nice because I didn't have to worry about fittings or meeting with people, but at the same time that kind of took that experience away as well, which made it not as fun and not as interactive. But I did feel like it was a good learning curve to learn kind of the different techniques and how to take my time. As well as getting to see people was kind of sad as well. I miss my people, so. The thing that I'm most proud of is probably the timeline, being able to finish 5 pieces, and I felt like it felt a lot shorter. I don't know why, the time just kind of zoomed past. I was also taking 5 classes this quarter, and it was definitely a handful, and so being able to do 5 garments and still finish my year was pretty impressive in my opinion, and I'm proud of myself for doing it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show, and great.
My name is Julia, and I am a junior this year. The name of my line is Revert. The inspiration for my line is based off of the late 60s to the early to mid 70s, and I really just wanted my line to be something that's wholesome and authentic and just overall pretty happy. The process that I used for most of my garments was draping, although I did do some flat patterning with my pants and my collars and cuffs. The new techniques that I learned from this process was I learned how to do button plaques and collars and cuffs, and I learned a lot about just the draping process and the whole design process. The challenges that I faced, well, I'm pretty new to fashion design, so there was kind of a challenge every step of the way, but I would say the biggest technical challenge that I had was working with a button placket. Never done it before, and it took a lot of work to get it to look just right. And I would say that what I'm most proud of is my whole line. It's really quite amazing that you have an idea in your head and then you create it, and I'm just really proud that I got this far and that they turned out the way that they did. In terms of my favorite garment, I'm most proud of this garment. It took a lot of hard work and a lot of new techniques, and I just think it turned out pretty okay.
I'm a senior this year here at Central, and I'm here to talk to my line, Paradise. So I was really inspired by the work of Gilbert Adrian, who was a fashion designer of the 1940s. He had some really awesome dresses similar to these that he designed in collaboration with Salvador Dali, who designed the textiles. Considering that I was going to be making these in half scale, I decided that it wouldn't be too much work to paint the textiles myself. So the process, obviously, I started with a lot of research and kind of drafted my designs. And then I quickly started drafting my patterns, and then made my samples, and then I really worked on nailing down the patterns that I have painted on these, which was really quite a process. So I took the initial drawings that I had done and then kind of scaled that down and then figured it out to where it would work in line with the dresses that I made, and kind of figured out all the layout and how that was going to work. And then obviously I painted all the fabric, which took a very long time, and then assembled the dresses. So working from home, like I just said, was obviously not the best thing for me. I really missed being here on campus and working in a collaborative space with other people, and having kind of that group effort and shared experience that we all have together. But I think that ultimately this class shifted in a very effective way online, very unlike I would have expected. Ultimately, I'm very proud of all the work that I did, and I'm just sitting here in this room with these 3 dresses done today. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Abby, and I'm a senior here at Central. My line's name is Prima Donna, and it was inspired by glam rock and Marie Antoinette, the movie by Sofia Coppola. It was really fun line to work on, and the process was mostly draping and flat patterning. I did a lot of flat patterning, especially for like the choker. Some new techniques I learned were trying to get the trim around the necklines. That was a little difficult, as well as learning how to deal with sequins. Sequins are no joke. They get everywhere, which I was warned about, but I was like, oh, they're not gonna get everywhere, but they got everywhere. So, some challenges were working from home. It's a lot of a smaller space, so it's a lot harder to just kind of spread out, and when you do spread out, it makes a big mess and looks crazy, but super fun. Smaller forms are kind of a challenge just because of their tiny little arms. I had a lot of difficulties with those, and just trying to figure out how to move my design to a smaller form and like the proportions just to make sure I didn't look funky. But experience at home and with Zoom's great. I liked it. It was nice because we couldn't see each other like we usually do in the sewing lab, which is kind of sad, but we still got to have some Zoom calls and see each other. And then every week we met with Andrea, which was lovely, of course. And meetings were nice too. They were very helpful. There were some nights where I was up at 3 in the morning like a crazy person, and I was like, oh, I'm calling Andrea, but she's probably not awake, so so I'd have to wait. But it was nice to just be able to FaceTime Andrea in Walmart 10 minutes before they close to ask about needles. I'm proud that my designs look really similar to my sketches, so that was really cool to see them actually come to life, and it was really exciting. I'm also proud of working with sequins and not giving up, even though I wanted to almost every time I worked with them. But I've had a ton of fun creating Prima Donna, and I hope you guys enjoy my line.
Prima Donna girl, yeah. All I ever wanted was the world. I can't help that I need it all. The Prima Donna life, the rise and fall. You say that I'm kinda difficult, but it's always someone else's fault. Got you wrapped around my finger, babe. You can count on me to misbehave. Prima Donna girl.
Hello, my name is Ryan Payton. I am a senior here at Central. This is my line, Broke Business. My line is inspired by the Broke era. I wanted to go for a business wear, so I incorporated skirts as well as slacks, but also taking inspiration from the style lines in the Broke era, like the V's that you find a lot, and pleating, and a lot of corsets. This time I used a lot of draping processes other than flat patterning for the pants. Everything else was hand draped. And new textiles that I used would have been the brocade and the gold fabric. Everything else I was pretty familiar with. Working at home was a new experience for me. I'm used to having a lot of space with corkboard tables where I can lay out my fabric here at Central. Instead, I converted my room into a sewing lab where I just had my ironing board, my serger, and my sewing machine set up. So it was a little bit different to have a small space. I ended up cutting a lot of my fabric on the floor, so not necessarily good for my posture, but it was a work in progress and we made it happen. I am actually really proud of this line that I was able to do full-size forms. I tried a lot of different things with pleats and different style lines that I had never worked with, so I'm really happy with how it turned out. So thank you so much for seeing my line.
My name is Carissa Hills and I am a senior this year. My line name is Colorscape and it was inspired by just embracing color and making less traditional dresses, something that was more avant-garde, and it was also inspired by Giamatti Folly couture dresses, which are big tulle dresses. For my process, I flat patterned the skirts and all the bodices were draped on dress forms. And then I made samples of everything and fit them to the models and then made adjustments and then made these final dresses. Some new techniques that I learned were working with tulle just because it's really, really bulky and it slips a lot and it gets caught in machines, which sucks. I had to restart a lot and recut a lot. And then yeah, just sewing bulk and having to deal with that was really hard. And then doing layers and having like flounces and small layers was really difficult also. It was kind of difficult to have like fittings online, or like if we needed help with a technique and we didn't have Andrea to show us exactly what to do or like be hands-on, that was pretty difficult. So that's definitely an adjustment we had to make. And I'm proud of the fact that I made dresses while not being motivated to like have space where I can go in and sew and get everything done. It was really difficult to keep myself motivated and not get distracted when I was at home. So proud of that. I guess I'll thank my parents for being there and supporting me, as well as my friends for telling me that I could do it and keeping me motivated and keeping me on track and sewing when I didn't want to be, because that was really difficult. So yeah. I hope you enjoy my line and thanks for watching. I'm a senior and my line is called Transparency. So I got my inspiration from a lot of different places. I've always been interested in lingerie, so that's kind of where it started. And then I have a mood board on my wall that I just liked a lot of the silhouettes and colors and stuff that got me inspired, and that's kind of where the sheer idea came from. So I wanted to like do a lingerie inspired line and then have sheer coverings. So my process, I did flat patterning and draping. For the men's clothes, I did all flat patterning, and then all the sleeves were flat patterned as well, and then all the women's was draped. Doing everything at home was definitely different. It was hard to adapt, but I think I learned a lot and I grew personally, and my design, I got a lot better with my design as well. And I'm really proud of all the garments and how much they vary, all the different styles, all the different silhouettes that I tried. I wanted to try new things that I haven't done before. I'm really proud of that, and I'm proud of how cohesive it is and how much me it is. I thank my family, and I want to thank everyone that's supported me through this whole journey, and I hope you enjoy it.
I see nobody but you. I'm never confused. Hey, I'm so used to being used. So
senior here at Central Washington University, and the inspiration behind my line was the 1920s. I chose the 1920s as my inspiration because even though the Depression was going on, everyone was still trying to be creative and trying to learn ways to express themselves, and they chose to express themselves through fashion. Some challenges that I faced were working with new materials that I haven't used before. One of my hardest challenges was working with upholstery material. I learned some new techniques on how to work with it and some that didn't work. Working from home was definitely a challenge. For a while, I just worked in my own room. My roommates came home and we all set up shop downstairs in the dining room. We set up all of our sewing machines and had patterns everywhere. We eventually started camping out in the living room for a while, but it was really fun and it brought us all together because we were all designing for the show this year. Very proud of everyone in our program for taking on this immense challenge of designing from home, and especially from designing on these tiny forms. I've loved every minute of working on the show the past few years. It is a great experience to learn the ins and outs of how to put on a show, from behind the scenes to designing, and I encourage anyone to help out.
Hello, my name is Hannah Ness. I am a junior this year, and my line is called Cherry Bomb. The inspiration from my line came mostly from the denim I see on the runway and also the song Cherry Bomb by the Runaways. So the process for my line, I started with draping a few things. The dress was draped and the rest was flat pattern, so I wanted just to get the draping out of the way. I started that early because I had never draped anything on a bias before. So that was a new technique also. So some challenges I faced while designing my line were just the flat fell seams were challenging because you have to really sew in a straight line to make sure they look good. And also I have a lot of pin tucks on all of my garments, so trying to get those lines perfect, because if one's off, it just looks bad. It looks really messy. So I really wanted to make sure that I had all of those nice straight lines so it looks crisp and professional. My experience at home designing was really interesting, but it was really fun. It was really cool just to be able to kind of do everything on our own, and then when we need help, just FaceTime Andrea or shoot her a quick text and we could get help. And I learned to definitely trust myself more through this process because I couldn't ask a question for every issue I had. I kind of had to problem solve, find the right resources, so I know how to do that now. I kind of can rely on myself more with that, which is nice. Some things I'm proud of. I'm just really proud that I made some clothes. Like, it was really cool seeing everything, like the whole process, from patterning to draping, and then sewing my sample, doing the fittings, and then just to see the end product and to see everything up on the forms together is really cool. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
to see how they have persevered and pushed themselves to learn new techniques, learn different types of fabrics to work with, and really persevered in this challenging situation. They have grown personally, they have grown professionally, and for myself personally, it's been awesome to watch from my home, is where I'm at right now. Thank you so much for joining us, and save the date for next year, June 5th at Milo Smith Theater.